We're fucking live, yeah? Come on. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's not the United Stand. I've got to stop doing that. It's not the United Stand. It's That's Football. And it's Manchester City versus Spurs. Massive, massive game. Really looking forward to it. Been looking forward to it all week. Good to be on That's Football. Good to be joined by all of you lots who I'm sure, like me, not a City fan, not a Spurs fan, but really looking forward to the game. Look, the day's gone pretty much as many would have predicted it. Arsenal 2-1 against Burnley, a little bit closer than we would have thought, but they've still won. Liverpool 2-1 at Southampton, a little bit closer than we would have thought, but still won. Yeah, so look. Expectations are that City will win this game because that's just the way it's gone today. But we'll see. We'll see. I think for the good of football, I'm going to say it very early on, for the good of football, Spurs need to get something today. I really do think that Pep and his checkbook is going to storm away with the title again. Maybe Liverpool can go with them, but it's very hard. I want to see City dropping points. Look, I don't want Liverpool to win the league because I'm a United fan, but I want to see City dropping points. I want to see a competitive league in the Premier League. The best league in the world, apparently. Well, it's not the best league in the world when you know who's going to win the title and storm away with it week in, week out. Spurs have spent a lot of money. Ndombele, Sessegnon, Lo Celso, to name three. And I'm sure they've brought others in that I can't think about at this moment in time. But they've retained everybody as well. Will they retain Eriksen? I think that, look, come on you Spurs, says Bobby Shmurda. Aja says Spurs 2-1. I think if Spurs got a result today, it would be massively, massively significant. Let's go through the team news first of all. Remember, we're sponsored by OneFootball. The link is in the video description for this stream. Do download it. I'll be going through the stats and everything about how that works. Works really, really well. Link in the video description for that. But City, Ederson, Walker, Otamendi, Laporte, Zinchenko. Gundogan, Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Aguero and Sterling. Very, very strong start for them. No David Silva starting, which is interesting. Spurs, Lloris, Walker-Peters, Davinson Sanchez, Alderweireld, Rose, Sissoko, Winks, and Ndombele, Lamela, Eriksen and Harry Kane. And that, to me, tell me what the story is, Spurs fans. Where is Son? Where is bloody Son again? I think that's a real loss for them. Oh, he's still suspended. Son is still suspended, which I thought he was going to be back. Injured Dele Alli and Sessegnon and suspended Son, which is, I think that's a bit of a blow for them. Lucas Moura's on the bench. They don't have amazing speed in the final third, City. Sorry, Spurs. And I think that might hurt them a little bit. I think they do miss Son. Unfortunate this early in the game, isn't it? Early in the season that they don't have a player of the quality of Son available and opted not to play Lucas Moura. Harry Kane for me, very important player, but not quite at the races yet. Obviously forced himself back quickly to play in the Champions League from that injury. And look, Harry Kane's a very, very good goal scorer, but I think Spurs are going to have to go some. They're going to really have to go some to get something today. I'm not dismissing Manchester City. They are clearly the best team in England. That's why they won the Premier League. They easily could have won a quadruple. Spurs stopped them last time. So it's going to be a massive, massive test for Spurs. Kojak's Ballsacks made a contribution. Thanks for that. Score predictions. Get in the score predictions and tell us what your thoughts are. I did a FIFA predicts on Paddy Power yesterday and it was 4-2 to Man City. So I'm actually going to stick with that. It's as logical as anything, so I'm going to stick with that. What are you going to go with? Get your comments in there. Also, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. We're going to try and get up to, what are we going to try and get to? 84,000 today, which is 322 new subscribers. So please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. And if you have subscribed, click that share button, get involved. The interactive watch-along with Goldbridge on That's Football. Let's bring it on and let's have a sip. It's like being down the pub, but we're not down the pub. We're all around the world. We're in the world's best pub. We're in the Goldbridge Arms. And it's open. Imagine if we called it the Goldbridge Legs. That's shut. Goldbridge Arms. We're open for business. You can drink what you like here. Milk, water, strong stuff. Up to you. But that's what we do here. 4-0 to City, Mark. Who said that? Let's come back. Let's give you a shout out for that. 4-0 to City, Mark, says Sartik Batra. 3-1 to City, says OK. TRB63 says 1-1. Hi, I'm Phil Jones, says 6-4. I'd expect some sort of stupid answer from somebody who says they're Phil Jones. 4-1, Hamza Mazood. I presume you're saying City. And 2-1 City, says Akib Hassan. Liam Thomas says 2-1 Spurs. Top scorer prediction, says Bosom and Rugby. I still think Martial, I said it on this channel, I still think Martial will outscore Aubameyang. Aubameyang's got 2 in 2, so over to Martial on Monday night. But I think we could see 2 real contenders here today. Harry Kane and Aguero would be, I think one of those 2 will be the top goal scorer this season. I really do. But a lot depends on injury. Harry Kane missed a big proportion of the season comparative to Aubameyang last year. And of course, you've got Aguero always has problems with his hamstrings as well. So I think that might be... Injuries are always going to impact on that. Liverpool looking dodgy again today. City to win, says Burnsy 1997. If we have got any Liverpool fans in the house, what I would say is that you don't need to be that concerned about your performances. You're winning. You know, you beat Norwich and you beat Southampton. It was a good start to the season fixtures wise. I'm looking forward to Liverpool Arsenal next week. I'm trying to figure out how I can do a watch along for that next week actually, because United will be playing Crystal Palace at 3 o'clock, and then I've got to do my match reaction, which takes it quite close to kickoff. But we'll figure something out. But that's definitely going to be my FIFA Predicts game next week. But big test for Liverpool and Arsenal. 2 wins from 2, 2 wins in 2 for both. But what I would say about Liverpool, very similar to last season. I mean, Liverpool fans will know more than me, but I don't think Liverpool started the season off that well last year, but they ground out the points, and eventually they'll get back in the groove. And as long as they're winning all the games when they're doing badly, they'll all be all right. Lynn Hall's in the house. Hello, Lynn. She says 3-1 to City. Liverpool weren't good in the first half, says Joshua Melville. I actually predicted Southampton would get something on the Premier League preview I did on here yesterday. I had a funny feeling they would, but it just shows you. I mean, look, this is an issue I have with the Premier League anyway. I think the gap in talent between the top 6 and the rest is pretty big. I think teams like Wolves and maybe Leicester and Everton and Watford are capable of getting results against teams like United, Arsenal, Chelsea and sometimes Spurs. But Liverpool and Man City, I think the only teams that are going to test them are the top 6. They just seem so proficient in, you know, grinding out the points. So there we go. City lose 2-1. United wins 1-0. Top of the league, says Jackie Temper. Football fan AR says he supports Derby and Norwich. Actually, I don't know whether it's a him or not. It could be a girl. Goldbridge is the GOAT, says Josh Hampton. Thank you very much, mate. Please do keep sharing the video. Subscribe if you're new. We're going to try and get to... let's set a challenge. It's always good to set a challenge. We're going to try and hit 2,000... we're going to try and hit 84,000 subscribers today. So please, if you are watching, click that share button. Share it on your Twitter, on your Facebook. And subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Right, we have got a little bit of a sponsor today. It is OneFootball, so I'm just going to play you the little app there, as you can see. A little bit of insight into the OneFootball app. Download it, you get it on your phone. Then once you've got your OneFootball app, you can follow certain clubs, whatever you want to do. Obviously, I follow Manchester United. Updated news all the time. But when there's matches on, it comes into its own because you get all your stats and everything like that. Really good app. Link is in the video description. If you haven't got it, please do give it a download. I actually have it on my phone. You'll be seeing it in a moment from me. And obviously, it helps us out if you download it, because if you download it, it shows that you know, that they'll do more stuff with us, which helps the channel grow and makes us able to do more shows. Because that's what I want to do this season. I want to do a lot more of these on this channel. That United Stand's the bread and butter. I love the United Stand, but I also love football and I like to get involved and I like to talk to fans who aren't just United fans as well. So come one, come all. You're all very welcome. I enjoyed the game at lunchtime. You know, sometimes I think, oh, I'd just love to stream from midday till 8 o'clock at night, but it's not going to happen, is it? But it was a good game at lunchtime and you know, Burnley, Arsenal, tight. It was tight. And I suppose that's one thing I would say as well. We're not getting many smashings this weekend, are we? You know, I thought Burnley might get done over by Arsenal, and I thought, to be honest with you, I've just seen a picture on the on Sky there of a Panini sticker book, and it was the Forest team, and I remember that Forest team. V-neck, Umbro, red top, and Everton had exactly the same in blue. How's your fantasy team doing, says Kian Gallagher. I haven't done one this year, and I'm sort of glad I didn't, because I knew at some point if I started one, I would tail away, so I haven't started it. I think my predictions on the scores yesterday, I did quite well. I think I've predicted most of them. I'm going to go back on that and we'll talk about it on the Premier League wrap later in the weekend. Jordan Such, did you see Mitrovic last night? I tell you what, Jordan, if anybody didn't see the Mitrovic thing last night, I only saw it on Twitter. I wasn't watching the game. Basically, he's on the floor. There's another player on top of him. The other player's foot goes up in the air and he's around his midriff. And Mitrovic goes like that, like he's been kicked in the face. What concerned me is everyone was going on about Mitrovic the cheat. I'm more concerned that the Predator exists. You ever seen the film Predator where he's invisible and he goes around killing people? I think last night he was at that match invisible and he just kicked Mitrovic in the head because that's more out. But no, it was blatant cheating, and you don't want to see that sort of thing. Niklas Christiansen says Pep has confirmed that he will not wear the grey cardigan this season. He told it on Swedish TV. Breaking news. There you go. He's not going to wear the cardigan. We're about 5 minutes away from kickoff. I'm going 4-2 to Man City, but I desperately want, I think for the good of the game, we want Spurs to get something. Just because I want the Premier League to be competitive, and I don't see United being involved in it this year, so I want to enjoy a good title race. I didn't enjoy the title race last year because it's two teams I don't want to win it, but I'd love to see a Spurs get involved in it. James Miller says, thoughts on Pukki, Mark? Very good. Very, very good hat-trick. And you know what? I did feel that the seeds of a decent team from Norwich last week against Liverpool. I know they got smashed, but they played a certain way. And I think that they could be good. I mean, look, going through the results today, good 3 points for Everton against Watford. Watford have lost 2 in a row now, but, Brighton, West Ham 1-1. Bit of a nothing game, that one. Disappointed with Villa against Bournemouth. I mean, 2-0 down after 10 minutes, you will struggle in the Premier League. And I think Villa are learning the hard way. They're learning the hard way, and this is the problem. They lost to Spurs last week, but they were 1-0 up for a lot of the game, and then they ran out of steam. This week, first Premier League game at home, 2-0 down in no time, and then you're struggling to get back, and they lose 2-1. I think Villa will be all right. A lot of people are saying Villa are going to be the new Fulham. I think they will be all right, but they've got to wisen up quick and learn the lessons that mistakes will cost you goals, and if you're chasing a 2-0 lead, it's going to be very difficult for you. Obviously, Burnley won. Liverpool will as well. Newcastle losing 3-1 to Norwich, as we said. I think I predicted Norwich would win that game, and I think I would predict that Norwich are going to... I think Norwich... My predictions to go down were Norwich, Sheffield United and Brighton. I'm not going to change that just because of the start of the season. But I think Newcastle might well be going down. I might have missed one there. Players are coming out on the pitch. What I would say is Eriksen starts for Spurs. I'm very, very happy about that. I really would like to see Eriksen staying in the Premier League. I think that Man City and Liverpool are clear favourites for this Premier League title. But I think if Spurs can keep hold of Eriksen, with the midfield additions that they've got with Lo Celso and Ndombele, it gives them some depth. Whereas if they lose Eriksen, I think that then they start to for all the players they've brought in, they lose a big player as well. I mean, you look at Spurs bench today, they haven't got Son, they haven't got Dele Alli, they haven't got Eriksen, but then their bench has still got Vertonghen, Eric Dyer, Lo Celso, Gazzaniga, Lucas Moura, Skip and Davies. I mean, there's a couple of players on there that you think, yeah, but you know what? But then you look at City's bench, and this is what a checkbook does. Bravo, Gabriel Jesus, David Silva, Fernandinho, Mahrez, Cancelo and Foden. I mean, that bench is just ridiculous. You know, I look at United, my team. David Silva would get in it, Fernandinho would get in it, Mahrez would get in it. Cancelo, Foden and Gabriel Jesus maybe not, but... you know, a very, very, very strong bench. But having said that, I look at the Spurs bench. Lo Celso would get in United's team. Lucas Moura would get in United's team. You could argue Eric Dyer would get in as well, to be fair, because he's a midfielder. But look, I'm looking forward to this game. I hope you lot are as well. I'm going to go Man City 4-2, but I definitely want Spurs to win. Did you see the howler by Adrian, says the veteran trainer 88? I also saw the howler from Ings. He should have made it 2-2. Once a Liverpool player, always a Liverpool player here. I'm on the beer, Dan. I'm having a beer tonight. I've already christened this show the Goldbridge Arms. Drink water, milk, whatever you want to drink. But this is what these watch-alongs are all about. A bit of banter, watching the football. I think Ederson is the most... When I see Ederson on the TV, Man City's goalkeeper, he's the most like his FIFA player ever. Can United get Kante next summer? He'd be world class, as the Booknut fan. I don't think Kante will go to another Premier League club, to be honest. And Tito the Fool says, Pookie from New Jack City, pleasure meeting you, LA. Amy Andrew, you need to learn to spell first. Amy Andrew says, Mark Goldbridge is a First fan. That's the worst. That is the worst spelling of Forest I've ever seen in my life. But at least you tried. At least you tried. So we're getting close to kick-off. I'm just going to sort out the timer for you. Remember to download the OneFootball app. The link is in the video description. We'll be using the stats and everything from that throughout the game. So link in with me with that. What I would like you to do is, if you are on the OneFootball app, maybe chuck me some stats and I can read them out, because that would be great. But we are about to kick off, and I will start the timer the seconds that we do. Big. I'm excited about this game. I hope you lot are as well. I am excited about this game. I think City will have too much for Spurs, but you know what? I hope they prove us wrong. I think this game's going to be won and lost in the fact that Spurs don't really have any pace up front to hurt City. I think they can win the midfield battle. I think Spurs are good at defensively, but I just think City have got the better strike force, and therefore that will be the big issue for Spurs in the game. But we'll see. Right, kick off. We're off. Good, well done, ref. I was getting a bit anxious. So there we are. The kickoff is off. We're off, and still loads. Vast majority are saying City are going to win this game. I tell you what, I cannot pronounce his name, the Arsenal player today. Ceballos or Caballos or whatever. I'm going to call him Ceballos. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Most tackles, most dribbles, most shots, 2 assists, most passes, most touches. It was a very, very good performance. Which of the top 6 suffers the first big upset? Says Patrick St. Pierre. I mean, that's a good question for everyone to get involved in. I thought City were going to score there, actually. Cross coming in from De Bruyne. Starting on the front foot as usual. First team to slip up. Well, I think looking at the top 6 who've got games left, obviously Liverpool and Spurs haven't... Liverpool and Arsenal haven't slipped up. So I would say that, you know, you've got to look at United against Wolves. That's potential. But I also think Chelsea-Leicester could be one as well. I mean, today would be a shock if City lost at home. But I think Chelsea-Leicester, I've got a funny feeling Leicester might go and do something there. Watch them go and get stuff 4-0 now. Davian Francis says, Sancho is world-class. We need to get him. I did a video on that on the United Stand today if anyone wants to watch it. It's Ceballos, says Joshua Herbatrash 4. Ceballos. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. Or Cebios, says Sasha Fierce. But it's definitely Seb at the start. Okay, fine. He was very good today, Cebios. Leicester are a decent team, says Lee Newman. I think so, yeah. Mr. MKR is a Liverpool fan. He says Liverpool boom. I think they'll be very happy with that 3 points today. I fancied Southampton to get something, and I don't know why. Pogba is a massive flop for what he should have been, says Tara Baskaran. Pogba is absolutely essential to United this season. As a United fan, you can call him a flop, whatever you want. I wouldn't necessarily agree or disagree, but what I would say is he's absolutely imperatively important to United this season, because our midfield is just... You know, I don't think rival fans understand what United fans are saying about our midfield. It is weak. It is weak. The veteran trainer says he's got Vardy on fantasy against Chelsea. Golden Boot prediction, says the JFA show. Well, get in the comments about that. I like to get the comments about that. My Golden Boot prediction, I think, will be on this pitch. I think if Aguero and Kane play most of the season, one of those will win the Golden Boot. If they're going to be injured for a couple of months, they're not. George Kyle says it's Ceballos was a very good signing. Well, he is only on loan. This is all City already, you know. Spurs are on the back foot big time already. Thanks for that, George Kyle. It's Ceballos, and he's a very good signing. Apparently, they paid £17 million to have him on loan for 1 season, and there's no option to buy. So he'll be back at Real Madrid next year, won't he? But how good he was today, he could get them top 4, and then it's worth £17 million easy for Arsenal, isn't it? Yeah, in relation to the game, it's all City at the moment. They're really pushing Spurs back, which is interesting because it's all right Spurs sitting back, but they haven't got the pace on the break. So it becomes an issue. But you know what? I'm interested to see what Ndombele does today. I'm a massive fan of Harry Winks, by the way. And I'm interested to see how Spurs midfield deal with this. Because, to be honest with you, Harry Winks, Ndombele, Sissoko and Eriksen, it's a decent midfield for that. I don't rate Lamela. I've got to be honest with you. I don't rate Lamela. I never really have. But City are such a smooth team. I can't dispute the fact that they're a good team. Team Dream says he loves sex. Great. A lot of people do. Sterling for Golden Boot, says Eric Lord. Good shout. Good shout. Do you think City will go unbeaten, says Bodak Jade. And thanks for the contribution, Borat. it's very early days. I think the only team that's capable of going unbeaten is City. I think on their day, City are capable of beating every team in this league, whether it's even Liverpool, comfortably. At the Etihad, I think at Anfield, Liverpool could beat them. That would be an interesting game. But they're just so good, City, and they're in such a groove. It's very difficult to topple a team like that. But look, Spurs just need to feel their way into this game. Goldbridge Prosperity is giving us a one football app alert. I like this. He says 64% of 214,000 predictors have predicted Man City to win. You can do that on the one football app as well. When there's loads of stats you can get, and we're going to have a look at it in a minute, but you can predict the score, who's going to win at the start. So 64% are saying that City will win this game on the one football app, which you can download. The link is in the video description. Follow your team on there. To be honest with you, I would have thought it'd be a bit higher. 64% saying City will win. How many are saying that it's going to be a draw then? I suppose 64% is quite high. Yeah. 5 minutes in then, all City. I would predict that their possession... Actually, I've not gone on the One Football app yet. So if anyone's on the One Football app, go to the Man City Spurs game. Tell me what the possession is. I'm going to predict. Hands-free, I'm not looking at anything. I'm going to say... possession is well over 70% for City. I'm going to say 78% possession for City. Spurs haven't got a chance, says Heron Coco. And there's a ball through to Sterling. I'm surprised he let it bounce. But he's still got it in the box, or he was offside. There we go. You announce it, Ceballos, says Loot HD. Thank you very much. And Jay Malley's on my side. High five. I predicted that Martial will score more goals than Aubameyang. I realise it's an underdog statement, but I don't mind being the underdog. You ask AFTV whether United standers like being the underdog. We don't mind. Rolled up half an hour before a match against them. They played about 6 games. They train every week. We were a bunch of strangers and we won 3-1. It's 83% at the moment for City possession. Callum Freezy says it's 82, so it's around 83%. Bloody hell. And it's still City here, and Kyle Walker's away into the box on the right-hand side. He started the season very well, and I tell you what, I think Raheem Sterling should have scored. Where Walker cuts it back along the box. He started the season unbelievably well, Kyle Walker. It's almost like he knows City have got a new right-back on the bench. Cuts it to Sterling, and Sterling shoots, but it deflects over the bar. Spurs are well under the cosh at the moment. And Lamella is crap. And Spurs cannot pass out from the back at the moment. Danny Rose is just giving it to De Bruyne on the edge of the box. And he gets a shot away, but it's not that good. City got off with just a fine for 300k, says Dan Wills XX Gaming. I know. Not enough, is it? Good chance for Sterling. I think Sterling should score this. It comes across the penalty box to him. On his right foot, good block by Walker-Peters, but from there I think he knows he should score. But after the miss, he's got that look about his face that I'm going to have another 5 chances, which is probably going to be true. Darius Hatton says, Sterling, please give me points. He should have had a goal already there, but I'm sure, I mean, look, Sterling's, what a player Sterling is for City. I'll tell you what City do a lot of, I've noticed. I saw it against Liverpool in the Community Shield, and we've seen it already here. Their fullbacks are making these runs in behind because Spurs don't play with any width apart from their fullbacks. So the fullbacks for City are bombing right on like wingers, and then City are just playing a long ball over the top. And it's working a treat at the moment because Spurs don't have anybody to do anything with it. A rare bit of... I tell you what, Spurs need to change this already. They're in... There seems to be... It's like it's men against boys. It's like it's 15 City players against 5 Spurs players. The press of City is so energetic. When they get the ball, they're moving it around so well. I mean, City have got to win a Champions League, haven't they? I mean, they are... I don't like the fact it's it's all about oil, but they've spent a lot of money, but there's no doubt they're a good team. Lee Newman says Spurs play a narrow formation. Exactly. Hey, we've had nearly 100 subscribers, so please do subscribe. We're going to try and get to 84,000 subscribers today. Bottom right hand corner, please do subscribe. If you're not, please do give it a share. Kevin Chilquinca says that 300,000 is like $30 for City. And Devon Fundus Discord says Eminem is the greatest rapper alive. I quite like Vanilla Ice. Anyway, City on the attack here. A surprise, surprise. Oh, they're just taking the absolute mick at the moment. Gundogan into Sterling. Zinchenko will be offside there. Oh, they've got a corner actually. Mane for golden boots is Patrick McManus. How many goals has Mane got at the moment then? I know he got one today. Who scored for Liverpool today? I don't even know. I know Mane got the first one. I don't know who got the second one. I don't know how many scored against Norwich. I know you said Kante might not join another Premier League team. Wait a minute. I'll come back to you. That's from the veteran trainer. He says, I know you said that Kante might not join another Premier League team, but he did leave Leicester to join Chelsea, so who knows? Hey, anything's possible. I just think if Kante was to leave Chelsea, he'd probably go abroad. Maybe PSG or something like that. This ain't looking good for Spurs at the moment. We might have a VAR moment here. It looked soft if it was a penalty. Cross comes in. Spurs absolutely doing nothing in this game at the moment. You'd say Burnley would do a better job. So, no, there's no VAR moment. Michael Oliver saying this. Tell you what, it's a bit of a Chris Smalling thing by Lamella on Rodri. There is a little bit of grabbing. I mean, I don't want to see penalties for stuff like that. I don't think he was grabbing. I think he was trying to force his way past him. It would have been soft. So I'm glad that wasn't referred to a VAR penalty, but because that's going to cause all sorts of trouble if you're going to get penalties like that. No VAR decision for that. No penalty. Literally, you'll get 4 or 5 penalties a game if that starts happening. But Spurs I mean, you'd think Pochettino would learn. I remember Spurs going to City a couple of years ago and doing this, trying to pass out from the back, and they got absolutely smashed. But they're not able to get on the ball at the moment. Mo Gaza says the only team that can beat Man City now is Man City's B team. Yeah. And Michael Owen says Spurs trying the long ball. I said this before kickoff. This won't work though. The long ball is not going to work for Spurs against City because Spurs haven't got enough pace up front. Laporte and Otamendi, all right, they're not speed merchants, but they ain't going to struggle with Harry Kane. Victor says it was a penalty. Nah, not for me. Sterling or Sancho, says Joseph Lever. I think you'd have to say Sterling, wouldn't you, at the moment? I think Sancho's got the potential to be better than Sterling, but at the moment you've got to say that Sterling's one of the best players in the world, which is, I never thought I'd be saying that. Danny Green says Gary Neville says penalty on Sky Sports. What's happening to Gary Neville? Stop trying to win City fans. They haven't got any. I understand why he twerks for Liverpool fans because they've got loads of them, but why are you twerking for City fans, Gary? They haven't got any fans. It's not a penalty as far as I'm concerned. But what do you lot think? Did you think it was a penalty? I thought it was very soft. I'm watching it back again now. No. Initially, he's grabbing him, but not enough. And then he takes his hand off him, and then it's trying to get past him. I don't think that's a penalty. I think it's very soft. Sean Byrne, Aguero or Aubameyang? I think I'd go Aguero. Definite penalty, says Football Fan AR. No penalty, says Sundaresh. No penalty, says LFCF. You sort of let yourself down with the name LFC. I can understand why you're saying it's not a penalty. Nixon Pike says Laporte over Van Dijk. God, no. And the vast majority are saying no penalty. So there you go. Aguero or Aubameyang, says Sean Byrne. I've just answered that. So yeah, definitely Aguero. And thoughts on Lindelof's new contract, says Charlie. I don't know whether he's been given one yet. I know there's talks of one, but I think his current wage is about 70 grand a week. So Yeah, he deserves one. Jack Taylor says penalty. Azan Muller says no penalty. So, Lamella's crap. There was a run by Harry Kane there that he could have just played him through, and he takes an extra tub. I think Lamella's absolute crap. So much so that I think I might tweet it. And let's see if it does well. So I've basically just tweeted, is it just me who thinks Lamella is crap? What do you think in the live comments? Make sure you subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. I'm trying to get back to my live comments. Multitasking here. Thoughts on Neville saying that United will win the league before Liverpool, says Maruf Ali. Look, I think there is some truth in that, because the issue is, are United close to winning a league title? No. Are Liverpool close to winning a league title? Yes. But is there an irremovable force in Man City in Liverpool's way? Sometimes, if you look over the last sort of 20 years, there are teams that would be worthy title winners, but they don't win it because there's an amazing team in front of them. You look at Liverpool, you look at Arsenal in 1999, they would have been worthy title winners, but they came up against an epic United treble winning side. So Liverpool last season, any other year, probably would have won the league. Well, they would have done, but they came up against a City side that was just slightly above them. So it's that's the difficulty for Liverpool. If this City side continues to dominate, then that's the problem they're going to have, isn't it? And maybe that's what Gary Neville's saying. He can't see anybody toppling City for the next few years, so Liverpool won't win a title, and maybe by then United will be back on top. Who do I think will get regulated, says Mason Kentage. I think you mean relegated. My predictions were Norwich, Brighton and Sheffield United. And look, I'm not going to change my mind after 2 games, but to be honest with you, I think Newcastle might be in a bit of bother. I fancied Norwich to beat Newcastle today anyway, because I think they're quite similar, and the home advantage to help Norwich. But Newcastle could struggle. I mean, Steve Bruce, he ain't a great manager. Lucas isn't playing. Somebody just asked that. It doesn't really feel like Eriksen's playing at the moment, but he actually is. But Lucas is on the bench for Spurs. And Spurs just soaking up a lot of pressure here at the moment. Let's have a look on the OneFootball app. Remember, you can download it. Link in the video description. Please do. Very, very good app. And you can get all your stats and that on there. Here we go. OneFootball. Matches. Michael Oliver is the ref today. Let's have a look at the stats so far. So the possession's come down a little bit. We've got 68% possession for Man City. It was up to 83 a few minutes ago. Aerial duels won. Interestingly, 75% for City. People don't really give him respect for that. Shots on goal, 5 for City, none for Spurs. And with regards to tackles, 50%. Spurs 7 clearances to City's 2, and already City have played nearly 160 passes, whereas Spurs have only played under 67. Pass accuracy 91% for City, pass accuracy 76% for Spurs. Yeah, it's domination from Spurs. Sorry, from City so far, but it still remains 0-0. Please do download the football app, OneFootball app, link in the video description. It's very good, and it helps us out as well. Free to download, and a decent app for all your latest news. Whoever you support, you can follow your team. So can Spurs start to build a way back into this game? Good running here by Walker-Peters. He's going to have to do it all on his own, but he puts it wide. Sissoko got himself offside. I think Sissoko looks like he's going to have one of those shit games, to be honest with you. You know, sometimes Sissoko plays really, really well. I think he's looking like he might have one of those dodgy games. Sai Guy says Lamella to score. I'm just going to have a quick look on my phone as to what my responses were with regards to saying, am I the only person who thinks Lamella's shit? Most people say the same. I don't know why Spurs pick him. I really don't know why Spurs pick him. I don't rate Lamella. Poch doesn't look happy, says Football Fan AR. Lucky to win the Golden Boot, says Chisel Maestro. You know what? He could have a season like Kevin Phillips. People are saying, who's Kevin Phillips? Came up with Sunderland, scored quite a few goals, did quite well. And City are 1-0 up. Raheem Sterling, easy work. It's been coming a long, long time, that. And it's Sterling, whoever was in the live comments saying, I hope Sterling scores to get me some points. It's, you know, Walker-Peters, I quite like the look of him for Spurs, but he's gone to sleep here. It's not really a City sort of goal. It comes out wide here to Bernardo Silva, knocks it to De Bruyne, lovely cross by De Bruyne, and Walker-Peters just lost Sterling. Sterling's on the back post. It's a curling cross towards the back post, and Sterling with his head, lovely little header. I think Lloris should do better there, but it's a lovely header. Absolutely lovely header. And Lloris has just got his angles all wrong. 1-0. City. Simple as that. Poor defending, says Michael Owen. Let's go, says Sly. And it's been coming. It's been absolutely coming. You cannot go into games like this and play the way Spurs have started. Really poor start by Spurs. And not a very, very good start at all. But Sterling, maybe he should have scored about 10 minutes ago with the cutback from Kyle Walker. He's certainly scored now. It is 1-0 to Manchester City. And to be honest with you, as much as I don't want them to win, it's only what they deserve. They've dominated the game. Spurs have offered absolutely nothing, yet to have a shot on goal. And really, really, really poor start from Spurs, to be honest with you. 1-0. There we go. Score changed. Yeah, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. And it could get silly. They need to wake up or they're going to get smashed. But they're really, really bad start. Really bad start. I mean, what were they expecting? Like, City weren't going to dominate the ball. You've got to work a lot harder than that. A lot harder than that. I've had a super chat come here from, well, this is a bummer. For whatever reason, my feed is almost a minute behind yours. Sterling hasn't even scored on my TV yet, says the veteran training 88. Hold on, he'll have scored again in a moment. It's domination from City, really, really is. And again, I think Pochettino's stubbornness to change things is costing him here. Harry Kane has touched the ball 4 times, 3 of which have been in his own half, and the other one is only just out of the centre circle. Absolutely nothing. I mean, look, I've just said on Twitter, Spurs are playing like Newcastle on sleeping pills. Like, they're terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I like Spurs, but this is a terrible performance. They've got nothing in the final third. Lamela! 1-1! He's bloody scored! I don't know what City's defence is doing there, but we'll have some of that. Lamela! He's put it into the back of the net. I don't know what City were doing there, but he basically picks it up on the edge of the box and just curls it lovely into the bottom corner. 1-1, game on, and City will be absolutely fuming about this, but we're not. Nice little ball into Lamela. He runs towards the box and then just curls it around Laporte. I tell you what, maybe he's not that bad. Maybe he's not that bad. Matt Rush says difference between City and Liverpool is that City have bought quality players and improved. Rodri and Cancelo, Liverpool haven't. Matt, I would love to come back to that comment. I really, really would. But we've got a goal here, and it's a very, very important goal from Lamela. And he took it very well. And I tell you what, I'll take it back. I thought Lamela was shit. And he's actually not too bad, because that finish was very, very, very good. And I'll jinx him again. Do you want me to jinx him again? That was a fluke, Lamela. What are you all about? You're rubbish. But no, good to see. Good to see. And Heron Coco says that Lamela is underrated. Well, I'll tell you what, he can come round to the Goldbridge Arms when he's finished here and have a drink with us, because that was a lovely goal. But it is his first goal since November 2018. But we're back level, which is good. He's given, and to be fair to Lamela, he's dished out the biggest L of the season so far for me. There'll be plenty more to come, but I did tweet out, is it me who just thinks Lamela's shit? And he scored about 15 minutes later. But it's still all City, and that just shows from Spurs' point of view, that was their first shot on goal. That was their first shot on goal, and it goes in. They've done nothing else in 25 minutes. Let's rock. I like that comment. Anyway, I've had a couple of super chats here I'm just going to read out. Aaron Gillespie says, City fan on the kickoff didn't even celebrate. Says, and Michael Melrose says, whomever called Lamela to score is a god, says Michael Melrose. Good. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Another corner coming in for City here. I still think it's going to be very hard for Spurs to get anything out of this. Veteran trainer says, man, am I glad I left Edison on my bench. And the Booknut fan says, Lamela shushing you, Mark. Laugh my arse off. Hey, he can shush me all he likes. I'll be quiet. He can sit me. Go and get a hat trick, mate. I'd love that to happen. I don't mind that going against me. But maybe that's what Spurs... Well, it's definitely what Spurs needed. But maybe they can... that's a foul on Winks there. Maybe Spurs can take a little bit of confidence from that. Sterling's going to get a yellow card here. Oh, you can see my salmon shorts. I look like a tin of salmon. Clinical Spurs, says Ibrahim Karim. I'd love this. It's 1-1. Scars Music says, update the score, Mark, you lazy git. Scars Music, please go and get your eyes tested. It's 1-1, and the score has been updated pretty much since Spurs scored. Anyway, of course, City fans don't celebrate goals. They've got no emotional attachment, are they? They only support City because they're winning things and they're rich. Yoshiko says that if Maguire had joined City, they'd have won the league easy. Laporte and Otamendi are no goats. The goal was... That's a dive by De Bruyne. They should VAR that. That's a bloody dive by De Bruyne. He doesn't even get touched. Why can't they VAR that? What's the point in VAR then? He doesn't get touched. They've just shown the replay. Doesn't even get touched. It's a bloody dive. Archie Eaton says it's a foul. It was a blatant dive. He never got touched. It was a reckless tackle, but there's no contact, so it's not a foul. It's not a foul. It's a dive. I don't know what VAR's there for, though. I mean, if anybody in the live comments wants to give us a VAR update, because I bloody hate VAR, is it only for certain incidents? Kojak's Bolsack has made another contribution. Thank you. Rob L's also talking about Kante to United. Have I missed something today about Kante to United then? I haven't seen anything about Kante to United, or are we just speculating? Good player, Ndombele. Ndombele needs to get into the game a little bit. But Spurs actually getting a little bit of the ball here for the first time in a long time. Half an hour gone. I just think Spurs would be a better side in this game if they had some pace on the break. But it's very difficult for them to do that because the way Poch has set them up, he's got Pochettino, he's got Lamela basically dropping into a back five, and obviously he's not going to drop Harry Kane. But look here, Harry Kane gets the ball wide right. He's not going to hurt. They're not going to hurt City on the break. Here we go though. Lamela's in again. Ericsson wide to Danny Rose. Might be an opportunity to whip a cross in, which he does. But City will clear. It's not enough in the final third from City so far. And Spurs will win that back. When's the next career mode? You should make them longer, says Free Grumpy. They're an hour every episode as it is, mate. I'll probably do one tomorrow lunchtime, to be honest with you. Probably do one tomorrow lunchtime. FIFA Career Mode, give it a watch. I'm only on episode 3. See how Harry Kane's on his toes there. He could have been through one-on-one from that little mistake. And Tony Farrell says, come on Spurs, do it for football. Tim and Fox, opinions on Norwich today. Very good. But I did predict they would beat Newcastle, to be honest. Newcastle, not a very good side. But that's what Norwich have got to do. Win, basically, losing to Liverpool, you expect that. So what Norwich have got to do is win their games against the other sides. Ah, poor pass by Lamela there. Spurs had a chance of a break. Well done, Ericsson. Spurs having a good bit of possession at the moment. City probably just getting a little bit frustrated. If we get Kante, Pogba isn't leaving, says Zero Blade. Where is all this Kante to United stuff starting about? I can't see him coming to United in a million years. Jordan Curley says Spurs need to win this game, otherwise City are just going to run away with the league. I know Liverpool have got Arsenal next week, which you would expect Liverpool to win, but Arsenal are doing okay, and Liverpool, even Liverpool fans saying they're not at the races yet. And then the week after that is Arsenal Spurs. So conceivably by the international break, because it is a 4-game start to the season, then the international break, City could have a bit of a lead. Nice Harry Kane. Knock it quick, Harry. Winks. Good bit of possession here for Spurs. It's whether they can produce something from it. I did see Adrius's goal versus Barcelona, David, and what a result it was. I mean, we are going to do some La Liga watch-alongs on here, but obviously not the... I wouldn't have done that game, but certainly I think Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Barca, Real Madrid, and Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, they'd be games I definitely want to do on here. So yeah, interesting. I think Real Madrid will win the league. Loving the channel march, says Archie Eaton. Thanks, pal. Really, really thank you to the 3,000 people who've tuned in. Get involved, make sure you subscribe. Going to try and do a game a week at least. When the Champions League's on, I'll probably do both nights of the Champions League because the club I support isn't in the Champions League. So I'll be doing Thursday night watch-alongs on the United Stand. So I'll do both nights Champions League on here. City on the attack, cleared by Spurs. I'm just hoping Spurs can take a little bit of confidence from getting that goal back so quick. Terrible by Sissoko there. Really good defensive play. Really good driving forward. And then his final ball, shite. Shells HD says Atletico Madrid are going to win La Liga. You're not the only person to say that. A lot of people are as well. It is actually 1-1. United Stand will have an 8 o'clock show tonight as well. A couple of people have asked about that. Lee Newman says, don't worry, next season United will be in the Champions League. I'll tell you what, I think it's touch and go. I think every point they can get at the moment is going to be helpful. Like if we get 3 points against Wolves, that's a big 3 points for United. In a way, I hope Leicester beat Chelsea tomorrow. Well, actually, I do. I like Lampard, and I think Chelsea under Lampard's going to be a good team, and I like the way that he's using youth. But they are a rival for top 4, so if they start off with 2 losses, it's helpful, isn't it? But anyway, this has dropped to Bernardo Silva. Good block by Davinson Sanchez. Sissoko. Good first touch. Lamela. Can't get Harry Kane in the game at the moment, Spurs. 10 minutes to half time. What's my score prediction, Babuma? I said 4-2 to City. I don't want that to be the case, but sometimes your head's got to rule your heart. Dave, MUFC Whitehead says Goldbridge for Prime Minister. Love the shows. I don't think anybody could do any worse than the current leaders of all the political parties in this country, to be honest with you. That's about as political as I'm going to get. Heron Coco says, I'm a United fan, but I don't like City. I'd say you're probably in safe company there. I think most Manchester United fans would have that opinion. 7 years ago today, says Tara Baskarin, that Van Persie signed for United. Yep. And that's a goal for City. It's just simple. It's such a good goal. De Bruyne with another assist. Aguero literally tapping it in. It's just too easy. And these sort of goals, City are just on another level, man, and women. They're just on another level. Bernardo Silva just slips De Bruyne in, and it's poor defending by Alderweireld. He just lets Aguero go. Aguero's just simply got a tap in. It's poor defending again. Poor defending again. And Aguero makes it 2-1. But it's a good goal from City. A very good goal from City. But Spurs, they're sleeping. They're absolutely asleep. And if we're totally honest, they're a little bit fortuitous to be actually 2-1. Because their goal was pretty much against the run of play. But it's 2-1. Aguero with the goal. Well worked. And yeah, weak goal, I agree. A few people saying that. Kevin De Bruyne has got 2 assists. James Case says he's miles ahead of Pogba. Well, of course he is. He spent most of the last season injured, but De Bruyne is probably the best midfielder in the league. That's why Spurs are bottlers. Not tracking the run is what cost the goals, says Robbie Stones. I think Spurs as a team have defended atrociously. And I really don't understand. I don't get what Spurs' tactics are today. De Bruyne's on here. He could make it 3. Ooh, he probably should have done. Shoots it into the side netting. But they're so lazy. They're not tracking the runners. No pace on the break. It's awful. Awful. Absolutely awful. And if you speak to Spurs fans, as much as Pochettino is perceived to be a good manager, and he is a good manager, there are frustrations from Spurs fans in relation to the way he tactically sets them up sometimes. I mean, this team has got no pace in the final third. And you know that, I mean, you look at United against Chelsea last week, they didn't have a lot of the ball, but what they did when they got the ball, they had that pace on the break with Rashford and Martial and Lingard and Pogba. You know, movement, pace isn't just about speed, it's about movement of the ball as well, directness. Spurs don't have people with leg pace, but they're not playing direct either. So the few times that they do get the ball, City are able to win it back so comfortably every time. James Harrison says De Bruyne is going to rip the league this year. You know what, James? I don't like this. Oh, it's like a new signing when a new player signs a new contract. When a player signs a new contract or they're back from injury. But in the case of De Bruyne, he is pretty much like a new signing for City. To be honest with you, he pretty much is like a new signing because he's so good, and they didn't have him for so much of the season last year. That yeah, he's going to make a huge difference to them because he's a very, very good player. But I've got to be honest with you, as much as I can say how great City are, it's ridiculously boring, isn't it? Because they have got a good manager and they have got some very, very good players. But why have they got those players? They've got these players because of money that is just luck. They won the lottery. And yeah, they spent money getting good players and they got a good manager. But it is a lottery that they won and it's boring. It is boring. I find City very boring because they've got, you know, as much as I hate some of our other United rivals, whether it be Liverpool, Arsenal, whatever, and I say hate, you know, in a football sense, I don't really wish them any harm or anything like that. If they were dominant, you'd go, well, they're a big club with a big history and a big fan base and it's horrible to watch, but you can understand it. With City, I just don't respect it. I can appreciate it. I can appreciate they're a good team and everything like that, but I don't respect it. It's like when Blackburn Rovers won the league in the mid-90s. Yeah, you deserved to win the league. Of course you did. I don't really respect it, and I'm certainly not going to buy into your dominance because you don't have any fans. I know you can fill the ground, but there's just something very hollow about Manchester City Football Club, and the press pick up on it as well. The press aren't interested. They try to be interested, but they're not, because they know any story about Man City, no one's really going to read it. No one's going to really click it because they just haven't got an engaged fan base and a very big fan base. But Yeah. They've got no history, says Face Chaz. No, you know, people will quite rightly say, oh, you're bitter, you're salty. Look, you can say that if you want, and you can think that if you want. But I just don't. I find City so boring because it's soulless. And, you know, City fans hate it when I say this, but you are soulless. And I know you've got some fans who've been there since kids and, you know, remember the days when you're in League Two and all that lot. And yeah, I get that, but it is soulless. They're blanks, says Stresh. A man like Drew says, if United played like City do, Old Trafford would be a madness. Yeah, it would. That's what I mean. It's like these City fans, they're almost like in a museum. Like there's no... I think what's happened with City is you probably got more of an atmosphere when they were in League Two and when they were facing relegation because it felt real. And I think that leads into a good point. When I remember City playing derbies against United at Main Road and that, like the atmosphere was amazing because they were the underdogs or because it was a Manchester derby. And I remember City when they got relegated with Alan Ball as well, Main Road. It was absolutely rocking. And this is Man City dominating the Premier League. And very rarely is that stadium rocking. Even, you know, very rarely. And I think they're as confused by it subconsciously as anybody else. They're like, it's almost like we're doing it on cheat mode. Yeah, we've got a great team, we've got a great manager, we've got a great stadium, but they know as well as everybody else they're doing it on cheat mode. It's not. It's hollow, isn't it? Like somebody said, it's you know, you've got to respect it, you've got to applaud it. It's brilliant football, but if Pep had done this at Man City or Liverpool, he'd get a lot more appreciation and a lot more engagement from the press and from fans because it's like they're big clubs. Man City, it's like, you know, it's invented 10 years ago, jokes, but it's true. The veteran trainer says, right, but as a United fan, I'd welcome oil barons over the Glazers. Well, yeah. But you know, if this was 2-1 at Anfield and it was Liverpool versus Spurs, you'd feel more about the game. I don't want to be negative because it's a good game, but there's just something about City when you watch City that's just very hollow is the word, and a lot of that comes from their own fan base. If they're fans, I think, you know, all you ever hear from City fans is the salty gif or you're obsessed or you're jealous, but you drive the hollowness. Like, you know, if everything's so, like, I'm looking at that stand now. And it may as well be painted plastic people. Maybe it is. You know, they've got the money to invest in like very lifelike fans, but it isn't, is it? But there's just no atmosphere there, is it? They're all just sat there like they're playing Sudoku. There's no atmosphere, and that's from their fan base. They've just got no. Man City fans have very, very little personality. Here we go, 3-1. Oh, just wide from Gundogan. As a football team, they're great. They are great. And Newcastle has more passion. Of course it does, Suresh Banerjee. In a ground, that's what I mean. Newcastle are terrible. Terrible football ground. No, it's not. It's a nice football ground. Terrible football club on the pitch, Newcastle. But if you went to 10 Newcastle games and you went to 10 City games, where would you get the better passion? Of course you'd get it from Newcastle. But you should be getting it at City. You're dominating really... City should have won the Champions League last year, how good they were. They blew it, but they're dominating football. I mean, this Spurs team are not a bad team, and they're dominating them. De Bruyne is playing absolutely fantastic, John Crabe. Let's go to the One Football app and have a look at some of the stats from this first half because we're nearly at half time. In fact, we're only 2 minutes away. I'm expecting big things here. I mean, I think the passing is going to absolutely annihilate them. I mean, 2-1 is, let's be honest, if I was Spurs, 2-1, you've got to be happy with that. Denzel Silva says, if this was Anfield, the crowd would be raucous. Exactly, because they appreciate good football. De Bruyne has a good shot there. Lloris nearly spills it. So let's have a look at the stats of this half so far. Possession, amazingly, is nearly 50-50. I don't know how that is. 11 shots on goal for City, 1 from Spurs. 5 shots on target for City, 1 from Spurs, which was the goal. Tackles 9 each. Total passes 300 for City. And to be honest with you, Spurs not far off, 270. I don't know how that's happening. Pass completion rate still at nearly 92% for City, 86% for Spurs. Stats are more equal than I thought, actually. Make sure you download the OneFootball app. Links in the video description. Really good app. You can follow the team that you support on there, and obviously when there's games on, you can get all your stats. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We actually could do this. We could hit 84,000 subscribers today. We're only 109 away. So please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. And if you aren't, or if you are already subscribed, then please click the share button underneath and share it. That's football. Everybody's welcome. Any club, any opinion, get on, get involved. It's not about biased here. Everyone knows I'm a United fan, but we're not doing United games on here. It's about what That's Football is really. It's about, I need another beer actually. It's about those games that we all watch. I mean, we might have some City fans here, I doubt it. Might have some Spurs fans in here, but it's about all those games that we watch away from the clubs that we watch, and you know, having a bit of banter and a bit of good chat. Bringing everybody together. I do my FIFA on here as well, so get involved, subscribe, it's going to be good fun. I'm going to try and do at least a game every week. Champions League weeks we'll probably do 2 or 3. Dr. Poe74 says Lamella is crap, eh? And James Walker's just subscribed, thanks. Like 10 subscribes, says Samuel Mann, thank you very much. Well, what's Lamella done in this game apart from score a goal? What have Spurs done in this game apart from score 1 goal? It ain't been good enough, has it? I don't think this 2-1 scoreline befits the domination that City have had. Ian Farrelly says there is something very artificial about Manchester City. John Craig, we already did. We did it a week ago, mate. See, look at Spurs here. Trying to pass out from the back, and then City are pressing them. That's because City, City have tried the ball over the top a few times with Spurs. I don't think Spurs have tried the ball over the top once. They're trying to pass their way out, and it's just so easy to play against if you're City. Really, I'm amazed by by Spurs tactics today. In some ways, you've got to say it's brave, but I'd get Lucas Moura on second half, bit of pace. They do miss, if you're Spurs and Son suspended, you do miss him. How on earth are there empty seats here? Says Female Out. To be fair, it is just about to be half time, so they are just about. In fact, it is half time. Mark, I wanted to say I love how you let the fans be in your videos. You cool guys, says Mason Kentich. If it stays like this, Spurs could do Champions League and get a draw or win. Maybe says Yo Tony. I think the next, well, anything's possible, but City, I would say, are going to get another goal very, very quickly. Raheem Sterling is better than Man United, says Edward Denham. That's just a silly comment. It's an irrelevant, silly comment, isn't it? You can't compare a player to a football club, and if you want to do it, I suggest you get on Wikipedia and look at it. Pep will leave City soon, says Tara. I think if they win the Champions League, you'll go. I think Pep, to be honest, Pep Guardiola is not a stupid man. He's not a stupid man. It clearly frustrates him that he doesn't get the accolades that he would like and the praise that he would like at Manchester City. But I think he realises why that is, because there is something very artificial about Manchester City and people don't really respect it. So if I was Pep Guardiola, I would try and go to a club that's got, that if you are successful, you are going to get some respect. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Spurs are going to be better in the second half, says Moise. They could not be any worse. They could not be any worse. Absolutely shite. Absolutely shite. And very, very lucky, I would say, to be only 2-1 behind. Can they get back into it? Can they get back into it? I would say they can, because anything's possible in football, and somebody mentioned the Champions League game. But will Pochettino change things? Has he changed things in the past quick enough? Some Spurs fans would say not. But what they need is they need the ball over the top. They need that ability to hit the ball over the top. And at the moment, they're not doing that. So I think Spurs are a bit like England, aren't they? They're just so reliant on Harry Kane, but there are aspects to Harry Kane's game that can make him irrelevant. And if this game goes the same way as the second half, Harry Kane's going to have a game where he hardly touches the ball, he has no shots on goal, and everyone always makes a big issue of that stat. Oh, Harry Kane's only had 4 touches of the ball. It was the same in the Champions League. But a lot of that's to do with the player that Harry Kane is. Very, very good player in the right system. But in a game like this, I think Harry Kane's a bit, well, he is redundant. Like, what does he offer? He doesn't, he can't, the ball over the top's not an option. He's not quick enough. The ball into Harry Kane's an option. I'm surprised they've not done that enough. I mean, he is physical enough to fight against Laporte and Otamendi. They've not done that. But the ball over the top's not an option. He's not really a creator himself. And City are playing a very high line because of that. So Harry Kane at the moment is pretty much a redundant player. Ewan Talks Football. I'm probably going to do episode 3 tomorrow of the career mode on this channel, so make sure you subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, getting very close to 84,000 subscribers, so please do share the video and subscribe. Bottom right hand corner if you're new. Also, let me just reset the watch there. I'm just going to get myself a beer while you lot look at the One Football app. I'll literally be 5 seconds. Take a look at the One Football app. Link in the video description. Give it a download while I'm gone. Only going to be a few seconds. Here comes the story of the hurricane. La 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 la. I don't think. Oh, bloody hell. Why is it not even. It's just stayed on the same screen, hasn't it? Oh, that was a shame. But please do download the One Football app. The link is in the video description. And it helps the channel. And it helps us do more watch-alongs if we've got that link in with the One Football app, which is a very good app. You can follow your club on there, get all your latest news, transfer news, breaking news. And when there's matches on, it's got really good stats there. Like I say, City into double figures from the One Football app with relation to shots on target. Guess how many shots Spurs have had on... well, I don't even need to add on target. Let's make it even easier. Guess how many shots Spurs have had in this game? 1. Absolutely 1. So there you go. Hopefully Man City's owners lose interest in football, says Tamjid Islam. I don't think they will. I think the interesting story about Man City's owners is that when they were looking to buy a club in England, Man City was an option, Everton and Aston Villa. So look, that's how artificial it is. It was nothing to do with, oh, we are Man City fans who are multimillionaires. They were looking at a club that they could get big as quick as possible. And the attraction with Man City was quite simply the fact that it came with the Commonwealth Stadium. That was what it was all about. They could have bought Everton, they could have bought Villa. So again, artificial, isn't it? Oh, what club can we buy? Oh, we'll buy that one because it comes with a stadium. So, you know, but I don't think they will get bored because I think they, you know, as a United fan, I can't stand our owners because it's all about taking money out of the club, buying us on debt, etc., etc. But we are a massive club with a massive history. With Man City, their owners are obsessed with being successful. They don't care if they're losing money for the first few years. They just want to be successful. And the infrastructure they've built, if anyone's been to the Etihad and everything like that, it's amazing what they've built. It is all artificial in my opinion, but they have invested a lot of money and a lot of infrastructure, and I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I think they want to dominate football and, you know, win the title many, many times. I think that they probably look at United and Liverpool and think, yeah, we want to win that many titles, and maybe in 20 years we'll have done it. And who's to say that they won't? You know, the worry with me is that if City win the title this year, they've won 3 Premier League titles in a row. That equals United, although we did it twice. Who's going to stop them next year? Oh, they've won 4 in a row. You could This is what I mean. This is why Spurs getting a result today was important. But to be honest with you, I'm living in a fantasy world. Oh, Spurs can be in a title race. Bollocks! Watch the game today. Even if they do get a draw, it's going to be lucky. They ain't going to be in a title race. It wouldn't matter if Spurs won today. City would still make that 3 points up very, very quickly because they're just absolutely on a different level. They're on a different level. Spurs aren't going to be a title contender as much as I would like them to be. They're not. City are going to run away with it again, and it's just whether Liverpool can go with them. And that's a fact, isn't it? And I find it boring. I find it boring because everyone says it's the greatest league in the world, and in some ways it is. But how can it be the greatest league in the world when you know who's going to pretty much win the title within the first, before a ball's been kicked? Like, I think they're just going to run away with it. I can't see... Look, Spurs are one of the better teams in the league. They come to the Etihad and they're getting annihilated. Who's going to stop City winning games? Like, seriously. Their bench is basically another first team. They play the way they play very well. They could do it with blindfolds. Nobody seems to be able to deal with it in the league. They're not going to drop... I don't think they'll drop as many points as they did last year. Like, I don't. I just think they're going to run away with it. And you can go on about what a great league it is, but ultimately... When you've got a team that's winning the league week in, week out, why is it not a pub league? You know, I say it about Celtic in Scotland. I say it about Bayern Munich in Germany. It's not the greatest league in the world when you know who's going to win it. And City are just so far ahead. Jordan Thompson says City will get 101 points. Liverpool 92. Man City are miles ahead of any team, says 50 Cent, in the world. Spurs are a very good team. And Manchester City are making them look average. Pep is amazing. I can't argue with that comment. All I can say is that it's just artificial because of all the money he's had. I think if everybody else had the money he'd had, they'd be in a better position. But he's got a massive advantage, and on top of that, he's a very good manager. The Booknut fan says, did you see Lukaku is going to miss Inter's opener because he's overweight? Only something United fans have known for a very long time. Very long time. Ndembele doesn't look fit, says Joe Baker. Not really been in the game. I've noticed Sissoko more than him. Harshit Mittal, I'm going to ask this. FIFA 20 or Pro Evo 20? I'm sticking with Pro Evo. I'm not. I'm sticking with FIFA 20. What do people think? I'm sticking with FIFA. I've done FIFA career modes for the last couple of years, and I just prefer FIFA. So I'm going to stick with FIFA. If I get FIFA and it's crap, I might try Pro Evo, but I'm sticking with FIFA. Yeah, I've made my choice. And I'm not one of those people who can do both because I've done that before. I used to buy both and you play one for a bit and then you try and play the other and it just messes with your head, so you've got to go with one. Thierry Mainrook, thank you for the contribution there, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for everybody who's joined in. Are you doing a Liverpool-Arsenal watch-along next week, says Sahil Shetty. It's either Liverpool-Arsenal or Spurs-Newcastle. I know the game I want to do. The problem I've got is doing the United stand. We're playing at 3 o'clock against Crystal Palace next week, which means it will finish at 5. I'll do my match reaction and I might miss kickoff. So that's the problem with the Liverpool-Arsenal watch-along next week. I might just miss the kickoff, which is a start. I'd like to see Lechoso come on. Ceballos, I don't know whether I've got his name right there. Very good day. Very good games today. Please do subscribe. We only need 56 more subscribers to hit 84,000. So please subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Arsenal fans didn't even know who Ceballos was, but after one good game against Burnley, he's suddenly better than Pogba. That's Arsenal fans for you. Well, I mean, look, he played very well today. Arsenal got an important 3 points. What's the first thing a lot of them are talking about? Pogba. I mean, and they say I'm obsessed. I actually tweeted some nice stuff about Arsenal today because I watched the game and I'm a football fan, and that's what football was all about. I love a bit of banter. I love a bit of banter. But on the other hand, I'm a football fan and I'm not going to lie when I think somebody did really well. I mean, De Bruyne has been fantastic today. Absolutely fantastic. Who would you take from City and Spurs squad, says Babuma. At the moment, there's not many players to take from Spurs, to be honest with you. Not been impressed with Spurs at all today. But I think that's a reflection of how good City have been. Who would I take from City's team for United? Probably their front six. Definitely De Bruyne. Normally Fernandinho, but he's not playing, so I would take Rodri. Bernardo Silva's a very good player. I really like Bernardo Silva. Sterling's just, probably their front six, to be honest with you. Probably their front six. Because that's our back four. I think our back four is as good as City's. I do. And our back five is goalkeeper as well. But in front of that, yeah, you probably got to go with City, haven't you? Thanks for everybody who's saying they've subscribed. Thank you. We're getting very close. Please do share the video if you are subscribed. Let's hit. I'm really pleased that we're going to hopefully hit 84,000, way ahead of schedule. Pour water over your head and I'll subscribe, says Bailey Dixon. That's not what Goldbridge don't do that. Goldbridge don't do silly little things to get subscribers. That's not how we work. We're credible. We're organic. I'm not doing a FIFA career mode after this because I'll be doing the United stand at 8 o'clock. Bernardo cost around, what, 40 million? Another gem of a talent that United scouted and didn't make a move for. Thanks, Ed, says Alligator. I mean, the one thing I would say about City is they've spent a lot of money on players, but they never spend over 60 million on a player. So for all the money City have spent and all the money City have got, they don't get mugged in the transfer market either. It's really weird. You'd think that the world of football would know that Man City have got loads of money, so let's charge them loads of money. But no. Cynthia says Tottenham should get Lo Celso on for his debut. I'd love to see him coming on. Agree or not, Tottenham are the most exciting. 10 million for eggs. I don't know what that was all about. I don't know what you didn't. You had me and then you lost it. Pep is not even that good, says the Batman channel. I think you've got to be... Look, I'm going to stick up for Pepe here. I'm going to stick up for Dembele. You've got to give these players time to adjust to the league. Did Bernardo Silva hit the ground running at City in his first season? No, he didn't. He really didn't when you look back on it. You've got to give players time. And I like Dembele, but you can already see that these signings... I always say when it comes to transfers, if you sign 10 players, if 7 of them do well, you've done very well. You look at the stats, 30% of transfers will flop. Doesn't matter who they are. So Spurs have bought Ndombele, Lo Celso and Sessegnon. Statistically, one of those will be a flop, maybe even 2. That's how it works. So transfers are very exciting, but it's very rare that everybody you buy is a success. And look at Pep. He's had his fair share of flops at Man City as well. And United this summer have bought Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Maguire. One of those will probably end up being a flop statistically. Although United have had their fair share of flops in the last 6 years, that hopefully those 3 players will fit in the 70% that do well. Jordan Such says, when Spurs beat City in the Champions League, it was Son and Lucas who caused the most problems. One suspended and the others on the bench. Exactly. I think Spurs are lightweight up front. They've got nothing, and that's why City could win this game. I think City will score 4 goals because it's just relentless. There's no outball, and I've played as a defender, and many of you have as well. If you don't get a breather, your concentration goes. The more tired you've got, and there's no outball. There's no outball. I used to say this about United with Lukaku. Just hold the bloody ball up and run the channels a bit against the better teams, because when the ball keeps coming back and back and back and back and back, it's very hard to keep defending. Love the show, buddy. Score prediction for Monday night, says James Gavin. There will be a Manchester United Wolves watch along on the United stand, by the way, on Monday night. My score prediction is 2-1 United, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. Remove Pep from City and their reign will end. Pep keeps the players motivated. Pep won't stay for another year, says Matt Rush. 2 years, says Matt Rush. Spurs are coming out. No subs. I don't know what they're waiting for. So Spurs, can they get back into this game? Yes or no? It's a no from me. A word from Man United fans is to get back to the attitude of glory days, says 64 Ahmed. I haven't seen Lukaku's Instagram page, but Clerk and Inzaghi are talking about it, so I don't know what he said. What were your thoughts on Ceballos? Says Duty 294. I spoke about it at the start of the stream. What a performance. Absolutely fantastic. Most touches, most passes, most dribbles, most shots, most tackles, 2 assists. He was fantastic. He was absolutely fantastic. And, you know, I will say that. All I would say is, because you've got to be a bit... You've got to give the other side. It was Burnley. But when they got him, I thought he was going to be a good loan for them. And he could be the difference that gets them the top 4. Because I really liked Torreira last season. And I don't know what's gone wrong with him. Arsenal fans will know. But he had a bad end to the season. Apparently doesn't even want to be there. And he might well get his move in the next couple of weeks. But I really liked the look of Torreira. In fact, if you think about... Talking about new signings and Dembele's and people like that, if you said to me a year ago, who's going to be the successful midfielders out of Jean-Michel Seri to Fulham, Keita to Liverpool, Fred to United, and Torreira to Arsenal, I wouldn't have picked Torreira, and he was, but most of those players flopped, didn't they? Anyway, we've kicked off the second half. The timer's up and running. And we're only 18 subscribers away. And Spurs City nearly scoring again. Another cross come in. Lloris got hold of it. Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's playing very well at the moment, you know. Obviously worried about Lo Celso. How Nicholas Chilton says with a sub, Spurs could win this. Exactly. They miss Son. They do miss Son, but they just need something on the break. But if Spurs want to fight for titles, I know it's only the second game of the season, but if you want to win, if you want to be in a title race, you can't just give 3 points to City. These are the games that, you know, you've got to come away with at least a point if you want to be in a title race. And they've just gifted the ball away there, Danny Rose. I mean, they're passing it around the back 4, and then Danny Rose just passes it to City, and then you've got to work hard to get the ball back because City are so good at keeping the ball. It's just really, really poor from City, from Spurs so far. Boob me says, if you hit 84,000 subscribers, I'm going to have a fist fight with Pep. Oh, I don't have a fist fight with Pep. I don't think he's a fighter. He's more of a mind man. But look at Alderweireld here. He's got the ball uncontested. And then it's just a meaningless long ball that Danny Rose has managed to pick up, to be fair. Cross coming in. Edison's easy. Thanks for the contribution, Tishan Nook from Bad. Joshua Melville says Fabinho's not a flop. We didn't talk about Fabinho, but he didn't start off that well, Fabinho. It took him around until Christmas to start getting a chance. You can't just say a player's a flop after 2 games. Anyway, De Bruyne's running at Spurs back 4. He'll shoot. Don't stand off him. I can't believe how bad Spurs' defence is there. They let De Bruyne run the ball from the halfway line to the edge of their box. Like Kevin De Bruyne. Like nobody goes to him. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Josh Burns says it's a boring match. It's going to get very boring when City get the 3rd goal. Zinchenko nearly scores. From distance, Lloris palmed it out. Aguero with the follow-up, but Spurs will clear now. Just can't get it to stick at the moment. It's all City. That 3rd goal is incoming. Damien Treaky wants a shout out. He says United are going to beat Wolves. I think from a United point of view, I'd look at this Spurs team and think, you know what? On our day, we could beat them. That's how I think how well Spurs have played so far. And I think, you know, Spurs finished above United last season. They've had a better transfer window. Of course, the problem with Spurs is that, you know, you can't underestimate how big a loss someone like Son is. But Lamela there, this is what I mean. Alderweireld wins the tackle, knocks it forward to Lamela, and in 5 seconds, Sterling's running back at them into the box. It's like, it's relentless. The ball is not sticking. It's so frustrating for a centre-back like Alderweireld there. He wins the ball back, he knocks it to Lamela, and 3 seconds later, they're backtracking against Sterling because Lamela's not held the ball up. You've got to hold the ball up. you've got to relieve the pressure on your defenders. You've got to make City think, oh, we can't leave the door open. But at the moment, City just know, keep going, get the third goal, it's game over. There's no way that Spurs are coming back from 3-1. Lloris punches one clear. They're putting their hands up for VAR here. They're convinced, so we might get a VAR penalty here. I tell you what, I think City are quite astute at this VAR stuff as well. There's a lot of arms going in the air a lot of the times, and that will subconsciously get the VAR people to have a look at something. No, that's not a penalty. He's not getting anywhere near the ball anyway. But you know what I mean? I've spotted that already. You see, Man City already miles ahead of everybody else. This is the sort of thing Sir Alex Ferguson would do. Even though you're miles better than everybody else, where else can we get an advantage? Oh, I know, this VAR thing. Let's play on people's minds. Let's play on the manager's mind. Oh, De Bruyne. Getting closer. Just shoots wide from the layoff from Aguero on the edge of the box, and De Bruyne shoots wide. He deserves a goal. He's been fantastic. Absolutely superb from De Bruyne. Shoes wide. Spanish mentality. Swarm the refs, says Chris Pope. Score prediction for Arsenal-Liverpool, says Thomas Spragg. I think at Anfield, you've got to always say that Liverpool will win, and you've also got to say that Arsenal are, you know, a little bit like Spurs up north. A lot of the time they bottle it against the big clubs. So I would definitely say Liverpool will win that, but Liverpool will have to go up a gear. Spurs on a rare attack here. Just get hold of the ball a bit. Let your defence have a breather. Oh, see Ndombele there. Back in the City arms. Yeah, Son's suspended. I don't know. He must have got a red card for something. I don't know how many more games he's suspended for. He missed the first 2 games of the season, so he must have a 3-match ban. So is he missing the next game as well? Alex Lown just wants a hello. Hello, Alex. Thanks for 3,000 people tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. I'm really hoping that this channel is going to grow a lot through the season. You know, it sort of grew from the World Cup last year. We did every single World Cup game as a watch along last year, and this summer I want to do every Euros game as a watch along. So, but I also watch a lot of football, and I'm just like, you know what? A lot of the time, if I'm at home, I'll just watch it on my own because people don't really like football in my household. So I'm like, you know, maybe I should just do watch alongs. Aguero over the bar would have been a good goal. Sterling slipped him through into the box, and he shoots over the bar. Half a chance. So yeah, we're going to try and do a watch-along a week in the Premier League, but I will do other watch-alongs, Champions League, etc. We do Premier League preview on a Friday, which is normally on a Friday afternoon. Did it yesterday. Premier League wrap, which is just me on my phone, really talking about the Premier League weekend. So yeah, lots to get involved in, and I want, you know, if you think about on Twitter at Mark Goldbridge, I do a lot of tweets that are around the football I'm watching, and there's a lot of people who follow me who aren't just United fans. So it's about that. Good chance there. Fortuitously found its way into Bernardo Silva's path as he ran into the box. Passed it low. Lloris jumped on it. Should have been 3-1. It's only a matter of time. And I think when the third goal goes in, it's going to be game over. Lloris quick off his line there. They're just carving them open like a Christmas turkey at the moment. When will that third goal come? Because Spurs have no answer. They have no answer. Spurs are getting peppered, says man like Drew. Who do I think is going to win the league, James? Come on. I think we've got a boring league in the offing. I can't see. You tell me who's going to beat City. Like, tell me who's going to beat City. Seriously, that's the problem. I mean, I'm going to go to the league now, right? Let's have a look at Man City's fixtures. And this is where the problem is. I mean, Man City and Liverpool won every game from February, didn't they? So, like, that's what you're up against. And I look at City's fixtures, right? Bournemouth away next week. They'll win that. Then they've got Brighton at home. May as well have the weekend off and play the under-11s. They're going to win that. Then they've got Norwich away. They're going to win that. Then they've got Watford at home. They're going to win that. Everton away. They're going to win that. Wolves at home. They're going to win that. Crystal Palace away. They're going to win that. Villa at home, they're going to win that. Southampton at home, they're going to win that. Liverpool away on the 9th of November is probably the first game that City might not win. They'll probably win their first 10 fixtures before they play Liverpool. And, you know, that's the juggernaut they are. And if you don't find that boring, I do. The level they're at compared to everybody else isn't just because Pep Guardiola is a good manager. Ericsson. Oh, I thought if he could have just dropped down in his path there. Will your wife ever be on one of your channels, says Dublin O'Connor. I don't know. I don't know. Probably not. Such an easy run of games for City, says Hawkshead. I don't think it's an easy run of games. I mean, it is, but I think it's also hardly anybody can beat City. So it becomes an easy run of games because you know they're not going to drop those points. Harry Winks is off for Lucas Moura. I think that's the change they had to make. I applaud Poch for that, and he's done it quite early on. So that's an attacking change to make. Lamella corner anyway for Spurs. This might be one of the few chances they get. Yes! Get in! 2-2! And it's Lucas Moura with his first touch. Cross comes in from Lamella. Front post, flicked header by Moura. 2-2, 55th minute. City will be kicking themselves. But what a goal it is. It's one of those ones where the cross comes in and the little player just runs across the front post and gets a little flicky header. Lovely little header from him. I mean, he's getting above Kyle Walker there. And he's small. And it's 2-2. I tell you what, I still don't think Spurs are going to hold on. But in the context of the game, I think if it was going to go 3-1 very, very soon, the game was over. It gives us something to stay interested in. And Lucas Moura literally scores with his first touch, which is off his head. It's off his bonce. And it's 2-2. 2-2. 2-2. I've said it 3 times because I'm trying to change the score. Cracking. What an impact, Lucas Moura. Best sub of the season. Plenty of time though. I mean, look, I still think City are going to win it. My score prediction was 4-2, wasn't it? And City will probably go and score very, very quickly. But instant impact from Lucas Moura, and it's 2-2. And it, you know, maybe Spurs have got something on the break now. I don't know what Harry Kane's doing there. Ridiculous. I think he was trying to score from his own half when he's got runners either side of him. Silly Harry. What a substitution, though. Some people say that that Pochettino takes too long to do substitutions and make changes. But long way to go. I still think City will. Oh, obviously, I want Spurs to get something. I think a lot of us do, but I still think City will get something out of this game. 3 points. 2 shots, 2 goals, says Luke Davis. Yeah, let's have a look at that. Remember, you can download the OneFootball app. The link's in the video description. You can follow your team on there, get all the latest news. But I'm just going to go to the matches section. Man City versus Spurs stats. Okay, so it's still around 50-50 possession-wise, which is surprising to me. Total shots, 19 for City and 3 for Spurs. I mean, it shows you the domination, really, doesn't it? But Spurs have only had 2 on target to City's 8, and yet it is 2-2. Passes, 393 passes, 369 passes, so it's quite equal there. Pass accuracy, 91% for City. It's dropped a little bit, and Spurs has gone up to nearly 88%. Quite interesting that. 6 block shots from Man City, none for Spurs. It's bordering on a smash and grab, isn't it? It's bordering on a smash and grab. Please do download the OneFootball app. Very good app. Link in the video description. Still half an hour to go in this game, so you've got to say that the amount of chances City are carving, you'd expect them to have a good couple at least in the next half an hour. So they're still very much the favourites, but fair play to Spurs getting back in it. I thought the substitution deserved... Well, I wouldn't say it deserved a goal, but I liked the fact that it went a little bit more attacking, taking off Harry Winks and bringing on Lucas Moura. Just gives them that ball over the top, and Lucas Moura is playing in that sort of position off Harry Kane to give them that pace in the final third that they just haven't had all game. I thought the way Poch... Oh dear, Walker-Peters here. Sterling's robbed him. I don't know what Spurs fans think about Walker-Peters, but he's it's been an initiation for him today. And Lloris tips one over the bar from Rodri. MK Junior says, I've already got the One Football app. It's a great app. Cheers, pal. Make sure you download it if you haven't. Free to download. Link in the video description. Harry Kane's hardly been in this game. Off the bar. Bloody hell. I don't know how City don't score there. Lloris comes for it, misses it. Otamendi heads it. Danny Rose is on the bar, jumps for it, misses it. The ball hits the bar, and then it drops into the hands of Lloris. Actually, it was Bernardo Silva who went for it. I've got that totally wrong. Otamendi and Lloris go for it. Lloris punches. Bernardo Silva tries to lob. It lands on the bar and then lands in Lloris's hands. Whew. Close. 30 minutes to go. Surav Singh says, remember when United wanted Lucas Moura? Yeah, I remember before he went to PSG. Sir Alex wanted him. I remember when he was at PSG in January when he was linked with United and he ended up going to Spurs, and I was like, I don't want him. Goal. Side netting. God, it's all City again. Bernardo on the back post. It would have been another assist for De Bruyne. A little dinky cross to the back post, and Bernardo Silva heads it into the side netting. Well, heads it into a Spurs player onto the side netting. Walker-Peters is a B-Tech. Ashley Young says Yusuf Ahmed. Stretching me back out. Wind the body. I think City are going to win this. I don't want them to. I don't want them to. But they've been so dominant. James Hardy says, have City got a weak spot this year? I don't think they have. I just think Spurs have scored 2 good goals. Another clearance there from City. It's from Spurs. It's all City. They know they've got so much time. And what I like about City is that... what's Otamendi doing there? Trying to pretend that Danny Rose fouled him in the box. What I like about City is that they do mix things up. What's Otamendi doing there? An embarrassment, mate. It's a shoulder barge. Yeah, City mix it up. They don't mind playing a few longer balls, do they? Spurs have got to keep hold of the ball a lot better here. Danny Rose's distribution has been appalling. Right. Good run here. See again, final ball, not good enough from Spurs. And City, you keep giving City the ball, it's not going to be long until they score. Still all City. "63 minutes gone. What am I drinking? Apple juice. I don't know why it's got a head on it. Shrezhet says City's weak spot is their fake fans. Yeah, the atmosphere doesn't look like it's rocking, does it? You know, you're playing a team that's in the top 4, 25 minutes to go, at home. You should be winning. You've played really, really well. They've basically had 2 shots on goal and scored. You need the 3 points. You can imagine what Old Trafford, the Etihad, sorry, not the Etihad, Old Trafford, the Emirates, Anfield. You can imagine what that would be like, wouldn't you? When United play City, they need to build a wall in front of the goal, says Noel Ryan. They will dominate our midfield, yeah. But I don't think... Look, I've already said this. United, I just do not think are in the same conversation as City or Liverpool this season. Harry Kane's just been mugged off there. And it ends up with a goal kick. He hasn't played well, Harry Kane. Substitution here for City. Gabriel Jesus coming on. I think Aguero's coming off. Always dangerous to take Aguero off, I think. I mean, he's always got a goal in him. I don't think he looks happy to be coming off, to be honest with you. I hope this is the end of Man City, says James Hardy. I doubt it. Nicholas Chilton says teams that could win the league. Pep and Aguero having a little bit of an argument. Teams that could win the league, says Nicholas Chilton. Man City, Man U, Liverpool, Spurs. I don't agree United can win the league. And I'm a United fan. I don't think any United fan agrees that we can win the league. I don't think United can win the league. I'd absolutely love it. But yeah, I said Aguero wasn't happy when he was walking off the pitch. Still arguing now, Pep and Aguero. That's good though. I mean, people like to make an issue of things like that, but the reality is that is good. That is good because that shows a passion from players. And I've got no issue with Pep and Aguero arguing there. Aguero doesn't want to come off, and there's a bit of a debate between them. It shows that he cares and he doesn't want to come off. Nothing wrong with it. Anything Gaming's on the cider. What are you drinking if you're having a drink? You might be having a milk. You might be having a water. Cup of tea. Let us know in the live comments. You don't get this on Match of the Day, do you? Good recovery tackle there by, I think it was Walker-Peters that time. Another corner for Manchester City. Aguero should leave, says Toro. I think Aguero's done fantastically well to stay at Manchester City. I think there was... When Pep first came in, there was this assumption that it wouldn't work. And I think Aguero's adjusted his game from a goal scorer into a player that really can play in that system. And it you know, I think Aguero is arguably one of the best strikers in Premier League history. I think when you are naming your Premier League all-time 11, not many people put Aguero in it. But actually, when you think about the longevity, the amount of managers he's played under, the amount of goals he's scored, he deserves to be in the discussion, but he never really is. And he's not in the discussion for me because when I think about Premier League strikers, I think Alan Shearer, because he was just a complete striker. And I think about people like Thierry Henry, obviously, Ronaldo's, obviously. Aguero probably does deserve to be in there, but some people mention people like Van Nistelrooy, and Van Nistelrooy was a brilliant striker. But you've got to say, even as a United fan, that Aguero has eclipsed him as a Premier League striker because he's done it for a lot longer. And he's adjusted his game under Pep. He has adjusted his game. You know, Aguero's not really that sort of tiki-taka striker, but he has adjusted his game very, very well. Aguero or Rooney? Again, Darth Maul. I would go with Rooney, but again, I don't know. I think again, are we walking into that arena of? Might be a goal here for City. Corner. Are we walking into that arena again that we were talking about in the first half, where if Aguero had done all this for a Liverpool or a United or a Chelsea, would he be going up as one of the best strikers the Premier League's ever had? And is it because he's played for City, where nobody really respects it, that he doesn't get that? There might be something in that. Shane Goo says that Van Nistelrooy is the best. I mean, Van Nistelrooy was amazing, and he gets into the equation because he did it for Manchester United, didn't he? we've not had a VAR decision yet, you know, and I think City are adamantly trying to get one in the box from a penalty. Fanta Pants has had a good game, Anas. He's been man of the match for me. Fanta Pants. De Bruyne. Shearer or Thierry Henry, says TB Live Football. Thierry Henry was just amazing, but I absolutely do like Alan Shearer. I don't like him as a pundit that much, but as a footballer, what a striker. Get on that, Lloris. Foul on the keeper. Yes. I think La Liga is overrated. I don't get why the best players want to go there. It's a side room. And you know why people want to go and play in La Liga? Very easy. I figured this out years ago. One, you get to play for one of the top 5 teams in the world in Barcelona or Real Madrid. 2, amazing climate. 3, easy work. Easy work. You play for a team that's is probably going to win the league and has a very good chance of winning the Champions League. But domestically, you don't have to work as hard week in, week out. And footballers, at the end of the day, do you want to be at a club? Do you want a job where 20% of the time you've got to work really hard and 80% of the time you can do it in 4th gear? Or do you want to play for a club that 100% of the time you've got to do it all the time and you probably won't win the Champions League? That's the difference with the Premier League. And the climate makes a difference as well. But, you know, Real Madrid and Barcelona are massive clubs with massive fan bases, but also the league's a little bit easier. Angel Snakeria says that he's got De Bruyne in his fantasy football team. Well, I think he might have some more points. Yeah, he's got 2 assists already. Walker Peters again loses Sterling on the back. Jesus on the back post. Was it that time or was it Sterling? His positional sense, Walker Peters' positional sense, is like Stevie Wonder. He's all over the place. Got to improve. I mean, I know he's a good young right back, but to be honest with you, that's boring. We've already got loads of good young English right backs. Sort your positional sense out, mate, and figure out where people are. They obviously think a lot of Walker Peters, though, to be fair, don't they? Because they pick him over Aurier, who I quite fancied Aurier coming to United when he went to Spurs. So, yeah. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Thanks everybody who's tuned in. Really, really enjoyed this game. I'm not too sure what the game will be next week. The obvious one would be Tommy Lynn. I'm supporting Spurs to win, but I do think City will win. I mean, look, I'm just going to get the app up here. I mean, it's going to be scary. I mean, City have just... If City don't win this, it's almost like a giant killing. Even a point. Another good cross from De Bruyne there. They dealt with it better. You do feel that City might get a penalty at some point as well because the domination has been so much in and around the box. But De Bruyne has been on a different planet. So, statistically, here we go. It's 2-2. Remember to download the OneFootball app. The link's in the video description. So, statistically, you've got 28 shots from City to 3 from Spurs. 10 shots on target for City, 2 for Spurs, with which they've scored both. I mean, that's annihilation, isn't it? 28 shots to 3, and Spurs have scored with 2 of those 3. City have had 11 blocked shots, Spurs have had none. Passes-wise, they're quite equal on passes, actually. 483 passes to City, 444 for Spurs, which I think is rather impressive, considering the domination of Manchester City. City have put 23 crosses into the box. Spurs have put 4 in. Absolutely dominated them. 10 corners for City, 1 for Spurs, yeah. Link in the video description. Download the OneFootball app. Really good. Get all your latest news throughout the week. David Silva's coming on. 15 minutes to go. The hilarious thing would be if Spurs get another chance and win it. That would be hilarious. But I'd love Spurs to get a point from this. I think it'd be great for the league. I know Liverpool fans would get really excited by that. It's a long season. Look, the way City play, I think even if they lost today, they're still going to go and win their next 9 games. They're all massively, massively winnable. This is Danny Rose has just gifted a corner away there. Thanks for the contribution, Ketchtil. Evening all, says Tom Wade. All right, Tom. I haven't seen you. Yeah, City's next few games, we've been through them, and I think their next hard game is Liverpool away in November. Like, they've got a ridiculous amount of easy games, and they've made Spurs look like Newcastle on sleeping pills. They have. They're going to run away with this league again, even if they lose this today, which I don't think they will. I think they'll go on and win it, but that's why I wanted them to drop points today. Just to make it a little bit interesting, because I can see City winning every game until November. Ryan Lackman says, is the Rashford versus Jesus debate finally going to be settled this season? Well, I've set up a debate of Aubameyang versus Martial. I think Martial's going to score more goals than Aubameyang, and I appreciate the levels Martial's going to have to go to do that, because Aubameyang is a very good striker. Rashford versus Jesus. I think Rashford will have a better season than Jesus. I think Rashford's a first teamer for United, isn't he? Jesus isn't a first teamer for them. I mean, Lucas Moura. Oh, he's done well here. He's done very well. Good cross. Ooh, corner. I mean, he's not been in the game at all, Lucas Moura there, but he bullies Zinchenko, who I think is a weak spot for City, by the way. Bullies Zinchenko, gets past him, and he's got an opportunity to put a cross in, and Otamendi puts it behind the box for a corner. Imagine if Spurs scored again. Imagine if Spurs scored again. James Hardy thinks the league could be anybody's this year. I think it's not anybody's. I think it's firmly Liverpool or City's. Decent cross. Well won. You've got to go and win that. Oh, what is Sissoko doing there? They've got an... Oh, this is terrible defending by Spurs. Absolutely shit. They nearly got caught on the break from a corner then, because I think it was Sissoko let the ball bounce. Ridiculous. They nearly got caught out then. 10 minutes to go. Well, 15 minutes to go. Well, actually, let me be honest, 12 and a half minutes to go. But Sissoko lets it bounce there, and City, if he'd looked the other way, they could have put Bernardo Silva through one-on-one. Alongside the Etihad, I've heard the Emirates is also a terrible atmosphere. Is this true? Says the veteran trainer 88. I've never been to a match at the Emirates. Never been. I've been to Highbury, which was a long time ago, and the atmosphere there was very, very, very good. But these modern stadiums, do they really play to a good atmosphere? I mean, that's the fear with Old Trafford, isn't it? It needs a bit of work, but it's got the atmosphere, and it's the same with Anfield. And you know, both those clubs could build massive stadiums, but do they lose the atmosphere? Do they care? It's all about the money, isn't it? But Main Road used to have a good atmosphere. Oh, I tell you what, that's a good chance there. Gabriel Jesus getting up on a header. Heads it wide. I don't know who he's beaten in the air, because he shouldn't be beating them, but the cross comes in. It would have been another assist from De Bruyne. Yeah, up against Walker-Peters. He's crap. He's absolutely terrible defensively. He makes Ashley Young look like bloody Dani Alves. There will be a United stand at 8 o'clock. Yes. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. I've not seen anything about United today because I've just been watching loads of other football. But we'll definitely be doing United later on the United stand. MK Jr. thinks that Chelsea will come fourth this year. I think Arsenal are favourite for fourth. And just because you're favourites doesn't mean it will happen. But if we're talking about predictions, very good transfer window for Arsenal. They lied to the world and said they had 40 million, and they obviously had a lot more. It's Emery's second season, whereas it's Lampard and Solskjaer's first season. So look, you've got to assume that Spurs and Liverpool and City will get... Oh! Another good cross. Gone out for a throw-in. They'll get top 4. So there's one spot up for Chelsea, United or Arsenal. And I think Arsenal are the favourites. Hertwig Dogra, thank you for the contribution, mates. Matt Johnson says it can be quiet at the Emirates, but when United and Liverpool Spurs turn up, it's rocking. Exactly. I think Anfield for many years before Klopp was quite quiet. I remember United playing there. I was like, bloody hell, that's not like Anfield at all. It's normally really intimidating. And United can be very, very quiet at games. I remember the game against... what was the game I went to in last November that we drew? Crystal Palace. Yeah. And it was like a morgue. It was under Mourinho. It was towards the end of Mourinho, and I think everyone expects you to beat Palace, and it was absolutely terrible, terrible atmosphere. So any ground can be quiet, but I think that as I said, I remember Main Road City. When they weren't this multi-billionaire oil club, and they had like proper fans who appreciated the club and what they were all about. And the atmosphere used to be great, and they seem to have just lost their way a little bit. It's almost like they're in shock. It's like so artificial. Good winner by good header, Danny Rose. I mean, City at the moment, they're still very much on top, but have Spurs got a sniff of a point here? Some people are saying it's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first season. Come on. He was a caretaker manager for half of the season. It's his first full season with his first full pre-season. So, yeah. Walker-Peters, just pass it! Lucas Moura. Oh, he's lost it. And De Bruyne is going to keep that in. Good tackle there, Walker-Peters. Well done, Sissoko. Lucas Moura, he'll dribble with this, and Spurs now into Lamela. Oh, he's shite. He's fucking shite. Good goal in the first half though, but they had a break there, and it's just... I'll tell you what, I bet Poch can't wait to drop Lamela and get Son back in. Still not seen Lo Celso, have we? I mean... I don't know what the story's going to be with Lo Celso. He obviously doesn't want to put him into this game. Zinchenko's gone down injured, so we've got to throw in. We're getting. Tell you what I hate about this though. We're getting into that scenario now where we can almost touch that point for Spurs, which I think would be absolutely brilliant for the league. But I can still see City getting a goal. I'm a big fan of Son. Although, if anybody watched my FIFA Predicts, which I put up yesterday, it's through Paddy Powell, but you can always get it on my Twitter feed. The twat missed a bloody couple of one-on-ones, didn't he? Spurs having a water break here because of an injury to Zinchenko. So Poch is getting a chance to have a word with his players. So we're good. We've still got a good... I would say 10 minutes left in this game. I'll tell you what, Liverpool fans will be excited. Top of the league, well, above City after 2 games, 2 points. If it stays that way, which I don't think it will. I am doing a little bit of reverse psychology, of course, but I mean, to be honest with you, City have had so many chances in this game that Pep will not be very happy. I mean, I don't think Pep likes it when he doesn't win anyway, but he will not be very happy if they don't win this game from all the ball that they've had. It's going to make another substitution here, Poch, and it's going to be a defensive one. I actually do think, though, I know Aguero was moaning when he came off, and I don't know what you lot think, but I actually do think that taking Aguero off wasn't a good idea. I think they've probably weakened themselves. I think I'd rather play against Jesus than Aguero. I think they've become a little bit less of a threat, although they've still been very dominant. We've still got a break here. Lamella's come off now, so they've gone with a defensive substitution now. They've still got Moura and Solskjaer up front. Harry Kane up front. To be honest, Solskjaer would probably do a better job than Harry Kane. Well, it's been, I'll tell you what, as well, for a watch along, I really enjoyed Spurs versus Villa last week, and I think we've had a good game today. I think this could have been, we've all watched this game, this could have been like 4-1 to City, and we're just sat here playing with ourselves, like, you know, thinking what a boring game. So at least, again, we've had a good, interesting game. Look, City will kick themselves if they don't win it. Spurs will be absolutely ecstatic because I don't think they've played that well, but they've been clinical, and we've seen a lot of that this season already. We've seen a lot of that already this season. We saw it with United and Chelsea. The better footballing team, Chelsea, losing 4-0 because United were clinical. And again, we've seen it today where hardly any shots on goal for Spurs. I think 3, and they've scored 2 goals. I think 30 for City, and they've scored 2 goals. So it just shows you that there is that Spurs, City on the attack here. Good tackle. Can Spurs forge another opportunity on the break? Lucas Moura is going through the gears here, and he loses it, which is a shame. You feel that City with, well, there's going to be about at least, I would say at least 5 minutes added on. You feel that City have probably got 1 or 2 really good chances left in them, which is why I think it'd be very interesting if Spurs could fashion a chance themselves. Good tackle. Spurs are starting to defend better now, though, in and around the box. They're gifting the possession, and then, I mean, Eriksen's been quite quiet, and he's lost the ball. But City again coming forward. 87 minutes, but there will be some time added on. Kyle Walker's made a run there. Bernardo Silva. See, look at the space Raheem Sterling's got here. I tell you what, if I was a Spurs fan, I would be concerned about Walker-Peters. Goal kick. Super chat from Ernest Taburi. He says, so if Pogba was getting bypassed in midfield like Eriksen today, he'll be getting pelters right and hate after the game right. Just saying. Yeah, look, you make a good point, Ernest. You make a good point. But you're under the spotlight if you're a United fan, aren't you? United player. You're under the spotlight. That's the way it works. 29 attempts for City. 3 for Spurs. Make sure you download the OneFootball app. Link in the video description. Chelsea was better than Liverpool in the Super Cup, says Boogie's 84. I tell you what, I think it's a massive game for Chelsea tomorrow against Leicester. Chelsea have played 2 good games this season and lost both to United and Liverpool. You've got to be careful of something, whether it's deserved or not, to be to become a bit of a routine. Manchester United can't play like City. No, we haven't got the midfielders. Pereira and McTominay just aren't that sort of a player. Good running by Eriksen here. He will not have the pace. And he has to turn back. And the Spurs keep hold of the ball. I mean, the City fans leaving. I just don't get that. I mean, there's not loads of them, but I'm just isolating those 2 people walking up the stairs. Why would you leave? Oh, got to leave. Got to get the car out first. Like, why would you leave? It's like, you paid your money to go and watch this game. It's 2-2. You know that City are going to get at least 1 or 2 chances in this game late on, and you'd rather get in your car first. Madness. Madness. Rob Illustrate says that Messi's on the decline now. You do realise that Messi didn't play yesterday when Barcelona lost. Did Lo Celso come on for Spurs? I think he did. Is he the one in the orange boots? Danny Rose missing. And I don't know what's gone wrong here, but it's going to be a Spurs kick. I'm with you. Rob Illustrates. Why leave when the game's in the balance? Google both bought me, so City pay fans to turn up anyway. You've got to let them get off early. Another substitution coming in from Spurs here. Barca lost their last 6 when Messi's not played. This is Chad Richards, 77. Eriksen's coming off for skip here. Stoppage time, I reckon about 6 minutes. I was about to find out. We're into the 90th minute now. 4 minutes? Even I know that's wrong. He's only added 4 minutes on. I thought there'd be at least 6. I tell you what, I'm getting excited now. I daren't tweet anything because I'll mess it up. But Spurs are very close to getting a massive point here now. So you know what's going to happen. United are in a great place now. Just win on Monday, says Aaron Gillespie. Look, the league doesn't take shape until late September anyway. So look, where we are after 2 games is irrelevant. Another corner for City. Let's have a look how many corners City have. Remember, you can download the OneFootball app. The link's in video description. Follow your team, get all your latest news, and when there's matches, you can get your stats. I did see it somewhere. Corners 11-2, and it's a goal. Who's that twat there for Spurs who doesn't close the ball down? Gabriel Jesus wins it for City. I cannot emphasise what a twat this player is for Spurs, who just ignores the ball and lets Gabriel Jesus get it. I think it's Ndembele. I think it is Ndembele. And it's just lazy. Absolutely lazy. And there you go. We've set ourselves up for another boring season where City win everything. And look at Jesus dancing there. No one's taken any notice, mate. You play for a mercenary club. You're an artificial club. Cross comes in from De Bruyne. Flicked. Ndembele, to be fair, it looked like he doesn't make the tackle. He just gets wrong-footed by it. He doesn't anticipate it. But he should anticipate it. There's enough Spurs players there jumping at that. It's a good finish by Gabriel Jesus, but it's only what City deserve, though. It's only what City deserve, but they got so close to it. And Aguero and Pep are having a moment, but it's such a boring bloody result. It really is. I really wanted City to get Spurs to get something today. I really did. And oh, 2-2. I haven't changed the score because we've had a VAR moment. We've had a VAR moment. VAR. We've had a VAR moment. It's been scrubbed off. I think it's a handball. Cross comes in. Laporte uses his hands. Fuck it. I tell you what. And Gabriel, that is very, very harsh. That would never happen. Cross comes in. Laporte goes to head it. And it hits his arm. So it's a 2. I mean, he goes to head it and it catches his arm. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But hilarious at the same time. I thought it hit the Spurs defender's arm as well. I mean, this is you know, look, at the end of the day, it's funny, but it's not. It's the sort of thing we would never ever even know about if we didn't have VAR. So look, ultimately, does it make football better or worse? I don't know. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I just wanted City not to get a win today because I just think it makes the league a little bit more interesting. And it's... what is it about City and Spurs, eh? What is it about Man City against Spurs at the Etihad that they just keep getting these decisions, crucial decisions, going against them when they think they're going to win games of football? City, I mean, look, there can't be much long left. We're plus 4 minutes, but then again, there was probably about a couple of minutes from that. Why didn't Sterling hit that first time? Corner. There will be time. There will be time. Absolute bollocks. There's a lot of people not happy about it. I'm so confused, says Joshy Boy. So, City scored. Gabriel Jesus scored. But as the cross came in on a VAR moment, the cross came in. Laporte went to head it. And it did sort of graze his hand. So, it's classed as a handball. Over the bar. And that is full time. Is it full time? Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know. Yeah, full time. 2-2. Gabriel Jesus is moaning at the referee. It's called VAR. Shut up and deal with it. VAR. I love VAR. I absolutely hate VAR, to be honest with you. But I like it in those circumstances. It's full time and it's a fantastic point for Spurs. And look, City had numerous opportunities to win that game. It ends up with a point dropped, 2 points dropped for City. I think City are still going to be massively, massively in this title race. But it just makes it that little bit more interesting that they have dropped points. And I think that for the good of the league, it makes it a little bit more interesting. I think it does. So I'm very happy that Spurs have got the point. Very, very happy with that. VAR comes to their rescue again. There's no way that goal would have been talked out if it wasn't for it. And City, unlucky. I can sympathise with it now because I don't think... I think it's a very, very harsh thing, but that's what VAR does. I don't like VAR, but in those circumstances I quite do. Because I think City not winning just makes the league a little bit more interesting. I blame the rule, not VAR. Did its job, says the veteran trainer 88. Yeah, look, I've got to set the show up for 8 o'clock on the United Stand. Please do join me for that at 8 o'clock. Really enjoyed the stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Spurs get the point that I wanted them to get. And look, I hope it does make the Premier League a little bit more interesting this season because I still think City are just miles above everybody else, official or artificial or not. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all soon.